keep going, 40 seconds.
When you take a bite of mouth-watering pie, or look over a green expanse practicing your swing, you're doing more than just eating and golfing. Choosing that perfect apple? Or winding your way through the corn maze? It's more than just a way to spend a day. On a visit to Lyman Orchards, you're part of a long tradition. For 275 years, the Lyman family has preserved its land, adapting to change and trying out new ventures. It all started in 1741, when John and Hope Lyman purchased 37 acres in what is now Middlefield. Today, Lyman Orchards is the 12th oldest family-run business in the United States. 4 generations of family owners continue to grow what has become a diverse and thriving organization.
It's kind of awe-inspiring to think that long the family's been farming in this area. It's something that we all grew up with, and you feel that tradition and almost a responsibility, but it's also exciting because others have gone before you, and so it gives you encouragement.
Nearly 3 centuries later, the small land acquisition has blossomed into an 1,100-acre farm in the beautiful Connecticut River Valley. Thousands of guests visit Lyman Orchards every year to pick fresh fruit on 350 acres of orchards, from strawberries to blueberries and peaches to apples. The Lyman farm today produces more than 100 varieties of fruit for pick-your-own, retail, and wholesale distribution. Lyman Orchards' first venture as a commercial orchard goes back to the 1890s, when Charles Elihu Lyman planted 500 acres of peach orchards and shipped his new crop all over New England. But like many farmers, the Lyman soon learned how business can change in an instant because of one unpredictable force: the weather.
When the deep freeze came in February of 1918, the temperature plunged to 0 degrees, and it hovered there for 2 whole weeks. There was 4 feet of frost in the ground. It ruined the peach stock.
Charles Elihu made a pivotal decision: to replant the farm with hardier apple trees. Despite the challenging and lean times, the Lyman spent more than 20 years planting the fields with new apple varieties.
The whole story of Lyman is one of adaptation, really changing to keep the farm going and not losing your shirt all at once.
Much of the Lyman orchard you recognize today was a vision of Charles Elihu's grandson, Jack Lyman, in the 1960s. Jack opened the orchards directly to consumers, and Pick Your Own was born. As consumers became more savvy and health conscious, the farm became one of the first orchards in the Northeast to earn eco-certification for its fruit. Customer demand for Lyman's fruits led the family to expand their retail market. In 1972, the family built a unique round building called the Apple Barrel. Always forward-thinking, the family included a scratch bakery.
The baker that my dad had hired a week before we opened, he realized it wasn't working out. So my mom ended up becoming the baker by accident. She built a lot of the really homemade type recipes, and so the pies reflected that.
Lyman's High Top Apple Pie is consistently voted the best pie in the state. Still made by hand and using fresh ingredients, hundreds of thousands of pies are made annually in the Apple Barrel. They're distributed in grocery chains throughout the Northeast and as fundraisers for schools and civic organizations. Today, the Apple Barrel features a deli with fresh-made sandwiches and salads, and a grocery department specializing in unique New England-based products and seasonal, locally grown produce. The Lyman's drive to innovate has deep roots. During the Industrial Revolution, David Lyman invested in diverse businesses outside the farm, beginning with the Airline Railroad.
Before the airline, there were no bridges across the Connecticut River south of Hartford. The railroad was successful in that it gave access to much larger markets, not only to the Lymans, but to farmers all along the line.
David also built a worldwide washing machine business, which employed hundreds here in Middlefield. The Lymans discovered creative ways to utilize their land while still attracting new visitors through the sport of golf. In the 1960s, they exited the dairy business and turned their cattle grazing land into a beautiful and challenging golf course developed by famed architect Robert Trent Jones Sr. Based on the success of the Jones course, the family added a second course in the 1990s, designed by Hall of Fame golfer Gary Player. Today, it's renowned for its scenic views.
People always ask, what's golf and farming, how's that work? Well, if you think about open space utilization, the two go hand in hand. It's just an effective way for managing open space, which is what we are. We're a land-based company.
So you want to be here?
Recently, the Lymans looked for ways to develop new golfers. They opened the Golf Center and Apple 9 course in 2012. The award-winning Golf Center has trained thousands of men, women, and kids to play golf, discovering the fun of the game. And they continue to celebrate their heritage by opening the historic Lyman Homestead for weddings and other events. Built in 1865, the homestead was home to 6 generations of the Lyman family. The family is also proud of its role in the abolitionist movement.
Freeing the slaves was never a popular idea in Connecticut. And so giving refuge to runaways or speaking out against slavery was not only brave, but it was dangerous. When William Lyman wrote a very public letter in a Middletown newspaper standing against the 1850 Fugitive Slave Act, he said, "Good men cannot become slave catchers any more than light can become darkness."
Today, the homestead is honored with a designation on the Connecticut Freedom Trail.
Hold on tight, babe.
The Lyman family has given back to the community. The annual corn maze and sunflower maze are not only a source of fun for families, they also benefit good causes. The corn maze has generated more than $500,000 in donations to the American Cancer Society since 2000.
One of the things that the family always has believed, we're in the community, we're part of the community, and it works both ways. It's allowed us to make a connection with our customers. They know that part of that ticket sale is going to a good cause.
Today, members of the 7th, 8th, and 9th generations continue their family's legacy, while employees support the businesses along the way.
That is really a fabric of who we are, because that's who the customer interacts with too. And so we have been blessed with a wonderful employee group.
So what's next for the Lyman farm?
There's no way back 275 years ago they would have in their wildest dreams imagined this. What's going to be the future? I have no idea. But if that's happened in 275 years and we go another 275, who knows?